What's the wildest way a company got itself in trouble with the labor board? When the company I worked for went public, they decided to buy a small defense contractor to expand into government work. It sounded impressive until the ripple effects hit everyone, including those of us who had absolutely nothing to do with defense contracts. See, when you do business with the Department of Defense, you have to follow strict cost control procedures. Every hour worked has to be assigned to a specific project code. That way, the DoD can check that your labor costs match what you originally quoted them. It made sense for the 50 or so people actually working on defense projects, but our executives decided that every single salaried employee, all 1,000 of us, had to start filling out weekly time cards. Even if you worked on nothing but commercial business, you still had to log your hours. At first, everyone just wrote 8 hours per day and called it done. No one cared enough to track their time precisely, since salaried employees are paid the same amount whether they work 35 or 55 hours. But not long after that, our state passed a new law. Every employer had to provide 1 hour of sick leave for every 40 hours worked. That caught my attention. I was in a specialized engineering role, one of only 2 people in the entire company who did what I did. I trained the other guy, and he lived overseas to support another site. Because I was filling out time cards anyway, I decided to start reporting my actual hours. I worked late nights, long days, and plenty of weekends. After a few paychecks, I noticed my PTO accrual wasn't changing. Whether I worked 40 hours or 80, I earned the same amount. So I went to HR and pointed it out. They looked at me like I was speaking another language. But you're salaried, they said. You get paid for 40 hours no matter how much you work. Yes, I told them. But since you're requiring us to record our hours, and since state law defines accrual based on hours worked, you're legally supposed to calculate it accordingly. They promised to look into it and get back to me. Weeks went by. Nothing. 2 months later, I was still logging every hour accurately, and I'd convinced a few of my coworkers to do the same. We were a traveling team, often flying internationally on short notice. That's when we realized something big. Under our state's labor laws, travel time counts as working time. 16-hour flights to Germany, work time. 10-hour days at the customer site, work time. We were logging 120-hour weeks without even trying. And yet, our pay stubs didn't change. No extra PTO, no sick time adjustments. We went back to HR again. They said they'd escalate to legal. We went back to work. A few months later, things started going downhill. Morale was in the basement, management ignored our concerns, and one by one, people started looking for new jobs. Within 5 weeks, nearly the entire travel team had put in their notice. That's when I decided I'd had enough. I sent HR a detailed email outlining every conversation I'd had with them, every paycheck discrepancy, and a reminder that I'd be contacting the state labor board if they didn't correct it. 5 minutes later, my phone rang. "Why are you even recording your hours that way?" the HR manager asked. Her voice panicked. "You're salaried." "Because," I said, "you told us to fill out time cards." "Well, why not just put 8 hours a day like everyone else?" I paused. "That sounds like you're asking me to falsify my time card. The one that says right above my signature that submitting inaccurate time is a federal offense?" Silence. Then she stammered, "Why didn't you bring this up earlier?" "I did, twice, with you, and I copied those conversations into the email I just sent." She went quiet again. "Oh, and by the way," I added, "I've already reached out to our general counsel. Turns out this was the first they'd heard of it. I've given notice, and unless I receive full payment for my owed PTO, I'll be filing a claim for unpaid wages. I believe state law allows triple damages for that." She didn't respond. "Please contact me via email once you've decided on a path forward," I said, and hung up. A week later, my final paycheck arrived. My owed PTO was fully paid, and then some. Someone must have done the math and realized how bad it would look if the state got involved. As for the rest of the team, one of my buddies filed the report anyway. The following quarter, the entire HR department, including their VP, was quietly replaced. So yeah, forcing salaried employees to fill out time cards may sound like harmless bureaucracy, but when you mix that with state labor laws and a few engineers who can do the math, it can get very expensive.